How many times have you wondered why you repeat the same mistakes even though you're fully aware of them? Maybe you've promised to change, sworn that you won't fall back into that toxic relationship, that harmful habit, or that decision that always leaves you empty. And yet there you are again, trapped in the same circle. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers in psychology, offers a surprising and transformative answer. Those mistakes aren't just flaws or coincidences. They're messages from your unconscious, disguised opportunities to know yourself on a deeper level. The first thing we must understand is that within us exists an internal world as vast as the universe. The conscious mind, the one we use for daily decisions, is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, in the unconscious, lives a powerful force that guides many of our actions and choices without us even realizing it. Jung explained that this hidden part of our psyche uses symbols, emotions, and patterns to communicate with us. And one of its favorite languages is repetition. When you start paying attention to the patterns that repeat in your life, you discover something shocking. Everything is connected. The decisions you made years ago, the wounds you didn't want to face, even the dreams you abandoned, they've created the reality you face today. But Carl Jung reminds us that this reality isn't an unchangeable fate. It's a projection of your unconscious, and you have the power to transform it. Imagine for a moment that everything around you is a reflection of your inner world. The people you attract, the problems you face, even the opportunities that seem to slip away. They're a mirror of what you carry inside. This can be hard to accept because it means the toxic relationships, wrong decisions, and failures aren't the fault of the outside world. They're an invitation to look within. But here's the good news. If you created them, you can also change them. Jung believed the key to breaking repetitive cycles is integration, accepting all parts of yourself, even the ones you see as weak, broken, or undesirable. Because every time you reject a part of yourself, you give it more power. And the more power you give it, the more it shows up as mistakes, conflicts, and suffering. Integration isn't quick or easy. It takes time, patience, and above all, the willingness to be honest with yourself. But the result is a life where you're no longer a prisoner to your patterns. You're the creator of your destiny. Often, these repetitive cycles are deeply tied to beliefs we adopted in childhood. If you grew up in an environment where you felt you weren't enough, you might now seek external validation, repeating relationships or situations where you strive to earn love or acceptance. If you learn the world is a dangerous place, you might live in constant anxiety, attracting experiences that confirm that belief. Jung challenges us to question these beliefs and realize they're not absolute truths. They're programs, stories we've adopted that now run our lives from the shadows. But here's the crucial point. You are not those stories. You're not defined by your past, your mistakes, or the labels others have placed on you. You're so much more than that. You're a being with the power to rewrite your narrative, to choose a different path, to create a life aligned with who you really are. The problem is that many of us live disconnected from our authenticity. We wear masks to be accepted, follow paths others have laid out for us, and suppress our true desires out of fear of rejection. But as Jung would say, this disconnection has a price. The repetition of patterns, the feeling of emptiness, and the sense that no matter what you do, it's never enough. Authenticity isn't just being yourself. It's a process of discovering who you really are beyond expectations, social norms, and past wounds. And this process isn't something you can do overnight. It requires inner work, introspection, and above all, courage to face the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. Because when you reconnect with your authenticity, something extraordinary happens. You start living from a place of truth. And from that place, things begin to align. Maybe you're wondering how to start, how to break those patterns that seem so ingrained. The answer lies in something Jung deeply valued: self-observation. Start by watching your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Ask yourself, why did I react that way? What am I really feeling? Where does this fear or insecurity come from? These questions, though simple, can open the door to a deeper understanding of yourself. And as you do this inner work, you'll notice something surprising. You're not alone. We all carry our own shadows, our own patterns, our own struggles. By sharing your process, by opening up to others from a place of authenticity, you not only heal yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Because when one person chooses to live from their truth, it creates a ripple effect. Their light expands, illuminating those around them. Jung said there's no greater burden on the soul than an unlived life. This means that every time you ignore your dreams, suppress your emotions, or follow a path that doesn't resonate with you, you're betraying your authenticity, even if it's small. As you dive into this journey of self-discovery, you start to understand that there are no mistakes, only lessons. Every stumble, every decision that seems to take you to the wrong place is really an opportunity to look within. Integration, as Jung described it, is the process of uniting all parts of you, even the ones you've rejected, to become a whole being. But how do you do this? The first step is self-observation, not from judgment, but from curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" change the question to, "What can I learn from this experience?" This simple shift in perspective can open doors you didn't see before. Because when you look at your patterns with honesty and compassion, you start to discover that behind every mistake is a message, a lesson your soul wants you to learn. It's important to remember that this process isn't linear. There will be days when you feel like you're moving forward and others when it seems like you're falling back. But even those setbacks have a purpose. Jung said real growth happens in a spiral. You move forward, pause, reflect, and then move forward again, but from a deeper level. Each time you face a repetitive pattern, you do it with more wisdom and understanding, and over time, those patterns lose their power over you. One of the biggest challenges in this process is facing your fears, because often the patterns we repeat are deeply tied to what we fear. We fear rejection, so we seek validation in places we'll never find it. We fear failure, so we stay in our comfort zone, repeating the familiar over and over. But Jung invites us to see fear not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Because behind every fear is a desire, a part of you that wants to be free. When you start facing your fears, something magical happens. You discover they're not as big as they seemed. They're like shadows on the wall, terrifying from afar, but when you get closer, you realize they're not real. And by crossing through those fears, you reclaim parts of yourself you'd lost. You become stronger, more authentic, more connected to yourself. This journey of self-discovery doesn't just transform your relationship with yourself, it changes your relationships with others too. The people who used to irritate or hurt you become mirrors showing you aspects of yourself that need work. The relationships that used to drain you start to dissolve, and in their place you begin to attract people who resonate with your new energy. Because when you live from your authenticity, everything in your life aligns. Synchronicity, a key concept in Jung's teachings, is one of the greatest gifts of this process. It's when seemingly random events start happening in meaningful ways. You meet the right person at the right time, opportunities you never imagined appear, and everything seems to flow with an ease you didn't know before. This isn't magic. It's the result of living in alignment with who you really are. But to reach this point, you need to be willing to let go. Letting go isn't weakness, it's an act of self-love. It's recognizing that certain people, situations, or beliefs no longer serve your growth. It's stopping yourself from clinging to what limits you and opening up to what lifts your being. And though letting go can hurt at first, it's also incredibly liberating. Because every time you let go, you make space for something new, something better. The question now is, are you willing to let go of what keeps you trapped in those repetitive patterns? Are you ready to look inward, face your shadows, and embrace your authenticity? If the answer is yes, then you've already taken the first step toward a fuller, more meaningful life. And that step, though small, has the power to transform everything. As you move forward in this process of transformation, you start to realize something surprising. Everything you need to change is already inside you. It's not something you can find outside, in another person, a course, or a book. It's a power that's always been with you, waiting for you to recognize it. Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists." This means that as long as you keep ignoring your patterns, your fears, or your shadows, they'll keep showing up in your life. But the moment you decide to face them, you begin to transform your reality. Resistance to change is natural. It's easier to stay in the familiar, even if it hurts, than to venture into the unknown. But what if you dared? What if you trusted that what waits on the other side is far better than what you're leaving behind? Jung taught that the emptiness we feel when we let go of something isn't an end, but a sacred space for something new to bloom. It's like pruning a tree. By cutting away the dry branches, you allow greener, more vibrant leaves to grow. The moment you choose to let go is also the moment you reclaim your power. Because when you hold on to what limits you, you're giving away your energy, your time, and your peace of mind to something that no longer belongs in your life. But when you decide to let go, you send a clear message to your unconscious. You're ready for something better. And that's where the real magic happens. The universe responds. Doors that were once closed start to open, opportunities appear, and the right people come into your life. This doesn't mean the path will be easy or free of challenges, but every challenge will be an opportunity to grow, to reaffirm your commitment to yourself and your authenticity. Because the journey to a full life isn't a destination, it's an ongoing process of discovery, learning, and expansion. And though there may be moments of doubt or fear, every step you take brings you closer to your essence. But this process isn't linear. There'll be days when you feel like you're slipping back, moments when doubts and fears try to sabotage you. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. Jung believed real growth doesn't happen without facing the shadows, without crossing through chaos. Because it's in those moments of disorder where you find the greatest clarity, where the answers you've been seeking emerge. Imagine your life is like a river. Sometimes the waters are calm and everything flows easily, but other times the river meets obstacles, rocks, turbulent currents, even falls. These difficulties aren't there to stop you. They're there to strengthen you, to teach you to navigate with more confidence, to adapt and to find new paths. And though it can be exhausting, every obstacle you overcome brings you closer to your destination. On this journey, you'll learn that you're not alone. We all face our own internal battles, our own repetitive patterns, and though each path is unique, there's something universal in this process of self-discovery. By sharing your experiences, by opening up to others from a place of authenticity, you create deep, meaningful connections. Because when one person chooses to live from their truth, it inspires others to do the same. The impact of this change doesn't stop with you. Your choices, your energy, your authenticity have a ripple effect. The people around you start to feel that shift, and many of them will be motivated to begin their own transformation process. It's a reminder that though inner work might seem solitary, its effects are immensely powerful. This process doesn't have a set endpoint. It's not something you can complete or achieve. It's an ongoing practice, a daily commitment to yourself, because every day brings new opportunities to learn, to grow, and to align with your truth. And though the path can be challenging, it's also full of moments of wonder, magic, and deep connection with yourself and the universe. This journey inward isn't an easy road, but it's the only one truly worth taking. Every step you take, every shadow you face brings you closer to your true essence. And though it might seem like solitary work, the reality is that by transforming your inner world, you're also changing the world around you. Carl Jung showed us that there's no change more powerful than the one that starts from within, because what you carry inside has the capacity to deeply impact the outside. Imagine for a moment what it would be like if every person in the world decided to face their shadows, break their patterns, and live from their authenticity. The impact would be monumental. And here's where you come in. This work you're doing, these reflections inspiring you to change, they're not just for you. They're a seed that, when it sprouts, can influence others. Your transformation can inspire someone else to take their first step, to look inward, and to start their own journey. That's why this message can't stay here. If something you heard resonated with you, if it made you reflect or reminded you of something you need to change in your life, then share it. There's someone out there who needs to hear exactly this, who's looking for a sign, a word, or a push to break free from their own patterns. You could be the person who brings them that message, who gives them a new perspective, or who simply reminds them they're not alone. Leave your comment below. I want to know what part of this message touched your heart, what change you're willing to make, or what you discovered about yourself while listening. Your words don't just have the power to connect with me and others, they also help carry this message to more people. Because every interaction, every comment, every time you share this content, you're contributing to building a community of people seeking to live from their truth. If you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Every week, I share content that not only aims to inspire you, but also gives you practical tools to transform your life. Together, we can build a space where knowledge, reflection, and personal growth are at the center. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but every small step counts. Every decision you make to face your patterns, every moment you choose to let go of what no longer serves you brings you closer to the life you deserve to live. And you're not alone in this. Here, you have a community that supports you, listens to you, and walks with you on this journey. Life is full of possibilities, and every day is a new chance to start over. Do you dare to take that step, to discover who you really are, and to live from that place of authenticity? If you do, you won't just transform your life. You'll inspire others to do the same. And together, we can create an impact far beyond what we can imagine. Thank you for being here, for taking the time to reflect, and for being part of this space. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll keep exploring how to transform our lives from within. Remember, the change starts with you, but it doesn't end there. I'll be waiting for you in the comments and in the next message.